What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the JuiceBox presented by LOCKCITY. It's Whitey here today. Happy Friday. Hope everyone's having a good start to the weekend by the time you get around to listening to this, or good rest of your Friday, I suppose, if you're still in the middle of a work week. We're going to talk about some Stage 2 ESL Pro League Season 22. Stage 2 kicks off in Stockholm, Sweden tomorrow. Obviously, we just wrapped up Stage 1 yesterday, and the teams just finished reseeding about an hour ago, which is perfect. Enabled me to kind of hop into recording today's video. So without further ado, let's just talk about what Stage 1 looked like here. So we had 16 teams competing in Stage 1. Like we said in the last video, 8 of those 16 teams were going to move on to Stage 2. Surprisingly, we saw HOTU, Inner Circle go 2-0. 3D Max went 3-1. GamerLegion, Gentlemates also went 3-1. Astralis, FURIA, and G2 rounded out our 3-2 teams to qualify for Stage 2. And then the teams that got eliminated, got sent home in Stage 1 were Bait, ENCE, Legacy, Fluxo, Heroic, M80, Energy, and Rooster. So Stage 2, exact same idea. We're going to have 16 teams loaded up here. But before we get into that, just a quick recap in terms of how we did in Stage 1 betting. So obviously for those of you that are in the Discord, and if you're not, I highly would recommend it. It's at the bottom of the screen here. Completely free, discord.gg/LockCity. We have about, well, I pruned the server the other day, so now we got like 3,500 members in there, but we've been doing it for about 3 years or so. It's a really good time. We got a CS2 chat in there. Come hang out with the gang, come cash out with us. But we had a really good time in Stage 1. Here's just a small sample size in terms of winners. I'll just have it overtake the screen for a second here. But we had a ton of winners over the course of Stage 1. A ton of really good profit here. We caught a lot of like plus 300s, plus 350s, obviously a lot of single betting. I didn't do a lot of parlay betting throughout the course of Stage 1. I did have 1 or 2 there. And then in terms of profit, how we ended up finishing off for Stage 1 was 17 and 10 overall. We were up 7.87 units. So $787 for those of you that remember from, I think it was the last video. We were down a good amount through the first couple of days of Stage 1. We're bleeding there. So we really turned it around to finish off Stage 1, hoping for similar or obviously better results for Stage 2. So in terms of Stage 2, obviously same sort of idea, still going to be a Swiss stage. We have 16 teams competing, and 8 of these 16 teams are going to end up qualifying for the playoffs. These 16 teams that we have here are going to be Team Vitality, the MongolZ, Team Spirit, MOUZ, Team Falcons, FURIA, G2, Aurora, NaVi, FaZe Clan, 3D Max, Astralis, GamerLegion, Inner Circle, HOTU. I know it's technically HOTU, but I like saying HOTU. It sounds better personally, and I've been saying HOTU in my head for like 3 years before they became somewhat relevant on streams. I never used to watch their games previously, so I'm going to still call them HOTU. And then Gentlemates. And then again, 8 of those will end up moving on to the playoffs. So in terms of match times for tomorrow morning, same sort of idea as Stage 1. They're kicking off bright and early, well, whatever your respective time zone is, but for me it's going to be 4:30 in the morning. First 2 are going to be MOUZ and GamerLegion, and then Spirit and Inner Circle. At 7 o'clock, we're going to have Falcons and Astralis, and then the MongolZ and HOTU. Aurora and NaVi, and then Vitality and Gentlemates will be at 9:30. And then G2 and FaZe and FURIA and 3D Max will be at noon Eastern time. Again, obviously, your respective time zones. One quick thing I'm going to do before we hop into the picks on Thunderpick is we're going to hop over and do a little bit of a Swiss simulator here. I actually haven't played around with this, so hopefully it ends up working and I don't have to like log in or anything like that. But let's try this out. So Swiss simulator, if you're not interested in this, feel free to skip ahead to where the picks are. They will be timestamped, but we're going to go through this and do a little bit of a simulator for Stage 2 here. So Spirit and Inner Circle, I do think this could be somewhat competitive. I do obviously think Spirit wins. Spirit should win 2-0. Inner Circle could potentially take a map, and that's like 2.7 times your money, so I think there's decent value there. But Spirit should win this 2-0. I think those maps could be close, could be like 13-10, 13-11. Spirit hasn't played in about 6 weeks. Obviously, they also have Tenier coming into the picture, coming over from Heroic. He's replacing Zontix. They've done a lot of practicing, a lot of demo watching, so on and so forth. Both of these teams ban Inferno typically, so the ban could get interesting, but it is a best of 3. I'm going to be going Team Spirit here, obviously, to win. And I don't know what this 2v0 is, whatever. Okay, anyway. MOUZ and GamerLegion. I'm going to be going with MOUZ here. I do think this can be competitive. I think probably 2-1 MOUZ, but I am going to be going with MOUZ. Next one up, MongolZ and HOTU. I do think this could be close. I would not be surprised if HOTU won a map, but again, the obvious pick here for me at least is going to be the MongolZ. If I'm wrong on that, so be it. Next one up here is going to be Falcons and Astralis. This one I don't even think is going to be competitive whatsoever. Pardon my sip there. I don't think this one's going to be competitive whatsoever. I'm going to be going Falcons, and we'll see on Thunderpick in a moment here. I do think Falcons win this 2-0. The next one up is going to be Vitality and Gentlemates. I do think Vitality wins this 2-0 again. Astralis and NaVi. I'm kind of spoiling and giving away some of the picks, but so be it. Astralis and NaVi. I'm going to be going with NaVi here. I don't think they win 2-0. I don't know, again, what this 0 versus 2 is, but we'll figure that out in a sec. And then 3D Max and FURIA. That's FURIA for me. And G2 and FaZe Clan. I think this will be a really close one. I am going to go G2, though. I think G2 squeaks it out. Okay, nice. So they reseed here. We have our 1-0 bracket, our 0-1 bracket. This will get interesting. Okay, Spirit and FURIA. I think will be close. I'm a Spirit fan. I'm kind of biased here. Give me Spirit. MOUZ and Falcons. I'm going to take Falcons. I think that's another really close match. I think MOUZ probably should win it, but give me Falcons. MongolZ and G2, give me MongolZ. And Vitality and NaVi, give me Vitality. This is going to be a bloodbath. Okay, 0-1, Inner Circle and 3D Max. I got to take Inner Circle. GamerLegion and Astralis. That's a tough one. Astralis probably wins it. I want GamerLegion to win it, but I'm going to go Astralis. They're probably going to lose. HOTU and FaZe Clan. FaZe Clan should win this. I got to go HOTU. And then Gentlemates and Aurora. I'm going to say Aurora wins it 2-1 or something like that. Okay, my 2-0 bracket is going to be Spirit and MongolZ. God, I'm going to go MongolZ. Falcons and Vitality. I don't know what I was about to say there. I think FURIA in my head. I was looking down here. Falcons and Vitality. I'm going to go Vitality. I hope that's not the matchup. FURIA and Inner Circle. I'm going to go FURIA. MOUZ and HOTU. I'm going to go MOUZ. G2 and Aurora. I'm going to go G2. NaVi Astralis. I'm going to go NaVi. 3D Max and GamerLegion. I'm going to go GamerLegion. And FaZe Clan and Gentlemates. I'm going to go FaZe Clan. 3-0, MongolZ and Vitality. Spirit and NaVi, I'm going to go Spirit. Falcons and G2, love that matchup. I'm going to go Falcons. FURIA and MOUZ, I'm going to go MOUZ. Inner Circle and Astralis. Give me Inner Circle. HOTU and Aurora, give me HOTU. And GamerLegion and FaZe Clan, give me FaZe Clan. So my 3-1s now are Spirit, Falcons, and MOUZ, and my 1-3s are going to be Astralis, Aurora, and GamerLegion. And then in the final 2-2 matchups, I'm going to go with NaVi, I'm going to go with G2, and I'm going to go with FURIA. So my playoff bracket's going to be these 8 teams, kind of expected 8 of the top teams. I'm sure I'm going to be wrong on a couple of these, but this is just on a whim, very, very quickly. But I guess my 8 playoff teams are going to be MongolZ, Vitality, Spirit, Falcons, MOUZ, NaVi, G2, and FURIA. Now that I look at it, I don't like it. And then my non-playoff teams, I'm sure a couple of these are going to squeak in, are going to be 3D Max, Gentlemates, Astralis, I hope goes 0-3 to be honest, Aurora, GamerLegion, FaZe Clan, Inner Circle, and HOTU. All right, that was kind of fun. If you do one of these and you're in the Discord, let me know as well. Post it in the CS2 chat. I would love to compare. I'll post this as soon as I'm done recording the video. And now we'll hop over to Thunderpick. For those of you that watch the videos regularly, you know that all of the odds that will be discussed in today's video will be on Thunderpick.io, which is one of the top books in the world for esports betting. You can deposit on Thunderpick using crypto, credit card, Apple Pay, Visa Debit, or via their new gift card deposit, which allows you to purchase and deposit a Thunderpick gift card amount directly to your balance. And Thunderpick has lines for all of your favorite esports, including but not limited to CS2, League, Dota, Valorant, Overwatch, COD, Fortnite, Rocket League, and so much more. If you visit tinyurl.com/LockCityTP, you can get a 100% deposit match on your first deposit all the way up to $600 or whatever the equivalent is in your local currency. Any amount that you deposit up to $600 will get immediately matched by Thunderpick for you to be able to use for your esports picks. We've obviously been super profitable on CS2, but with that deposit bonus, you can always try your luck with some of your other favorites with that free money to play with. That's tinyurl.com/LOCKCITYTP for a 100% deposit bonus at Thunderpick up to $600. All right, y'all, let's get into some picks here. I'm going to be going with 2 parlays, and then I'm going to be going with 1 single bet here. So on the parlays, actually, can we do this in order of when they start? I suppose we kind of can. Relatively obvious, I'm going to be going with some heavy hitters here. I'm going to avoid the ones that I think are going to be super close because there can obviously be a handful of upsets as we saw with stage 1, and I would anticipate those to happen. I think these 5 teams are going to be pretty safe, with the exception of NaVi. I wouldn't really say it's a coin flip. I would say like 65% NaVi, but we are getting good odds on that, all things considered. So the first one that we're going to go with here, I'm going to go with MOUZ on the money line and Falcons -1.5 map spread. I don't think Falcons and Astralis is going to be relatively close at all. We can hop over to map pools here. I don't think this is going to be close at all. If we're looking at the map pool, obviously Astralis has played some tier 2-ish competition, low tier 1 competition as well, whereas Falcons has mostly been like major top tier S tier tournaments, so on and so forth. Falcons, I do think, win any map in this map pool. They're going to insta-ban Overpass. I don't really care what Astralis bans. I think Falcons win Dust 2. I think Falcons win Mirage. I think Falcons win Inferno. I think they win Nuke. I think they win Train. I think they win Ancient. I'm going to be going Falcons 2-0. MOUZ, I'm going to go obvious against GamerLegion. We don't even really need to talk about the map pool in that one. MOUZ is the better team. It could be 2-1. I would not be surprised if GamerLegion snuck a map there, but I do think MOUZ wins this. They're not gonna start out 0-1 in this tournament. Give me MOUZ on the money line. Those two units, 2.11 times your money, is gonna pay 4.21 total units. Next one up, we're going to talk about Vitality and Furia. Same sort of idea. I took one of them -1.5 map spread and the other one on the money line. Vitality and Gentlemates. I do think Vitality crushes Gentlemates. Let me pull this one up as well. In terms of map pools, so Gentlemates, obviously they have a lot of persona to go along with them. They're very vocal. They can be nice and loud. When they get rolling there, they're pretty tough to stop. Martinez is really fun to watch. If you guys haven't watched a Gentlemates match, I do recommend it. I would tune into this Gentlemates Vitality. I think it'll be pretty lippy back and forth between Apex and some of these Gentlemates boys. But I do think Vitality ends up winning 2 close ones. I do think it will probably be like a 13-10, 13-9, or like a 13-10, 13-7. Maybe Vitality wins their map pick a little bit cleaner, but I do expect Vitality to win 2-0 here. There's not a map that really sticks out that I could see Gentlemates winning. You could argue that Vitality's weakest map, quote-unquote, is either Train or Overpass, but they would beat Gentlemates on either of those. So we're going to go Vitality -1.5 map spread, and then I'm going to go Furia on the money line against 3D Max. I'm not a 3D Max fan at all. If you don't like that one, then by all means just go like Vitality and Falcons, or feel free to mix these up however you want. But I'm going to go Vitality and Furia. I think they wipe 3D Max. And then the last one here, I'm just going to go NaVi against Aurora. I do think that one could be tricky, but I think NaVi probably wins this 2-0. 2-1 would not surprise me at all. If we want to go down and talk about the map pool, I think this is crazy to pick a winner, but a lot of Turkish people probably voting for Aurora. If we want to go down and talk about map pool, obviously Dust 2 is the one that sticks out that Aurora could probably win and will probably win. Aside from that, I think NaVi wins any other map. NaVi's going to ban Overpass. Aurora is going to ban Ancient. I think NaVi wins Train, Nuke, Inferno, Mirage. Again, Dust 2 is probably the only one that Aurora wins. So I'm going to go NaVi here on the money line. 1.85 times your money. 2 units pays 3.69 units. And those are going to be the 3 plays that I'm rocking with to start off on Saturday. We'll get another video in hopefully tomorrow. I do have a wedding to go to tomorrow evening, so depending on when games wrap and when I have to be out there for that, may or may not get a video in, but we'll definitely have picks in nonetheless. So make sure, if you're not in the Discord there, join up in the Discord. I'll drop the picks in there as well as on Twitter. And if you like the content that you're getting, like, subscribe, follow, I guess, if you're listening on Twitter or X, so on and so forth. And we'll see y'all back here tomorrow. Thank you for listening. Peace.